Hello, welcome to the ranch. Today we're talking Gringo Salsa. You might be asking yourself, just what is that? And I have the answer for you. You know, we have a lot of Latino friends and Asian friends, and they all have their own special chilies and peppers and spices that are amazing. You know, I find it incredible how some of my Latino friends, and they have peppers that are specific to their regions. You know, their town might be famous for a certain chili pepper, and a few towns over they have famous for another. Now the thing is, it can be kind of fun. You get between a couple of these fellas and say, hey, you know what he says? He says he's got the best chilies. Then you go over to this guy, say, he thinks his chilies are the best. Well, they might go at it for a little bit. You might be getting a little bit of a kick out of it. Before long, they turn it around on you, though. They're like Gringo. Both of ours are really good chilies. Just what do you got? Well, you know, honestly, we probably have to hang our head down a little bit and think about that, and arguably we don't really have one. I know we can go and study and look around on the internet, and there's going to be plenty of fantastic peppers here in the USA, you know, probably by universities and big ag groups and stuff like that. We've got them, but nothing that we can really hang our hat on with pride like our Latino and Asian friends. You know, the Asians, they have some amazingly hot peppers, oftentimes incredibly beautiful colors, and the plants that are beautiful themselves. But what do we got? You know, I'm mostly Scandinavian, English, and German ancestry, so is there a salsa that I can take a lot of pride in and say, oh yeah, this comes from my heritage, and have an answer for those Latino friends when they kind of give me a hard time and rib me about not having an amazing salsa to call my own. Well, after thinking long and hard, I have an answer. And it's a great one, and maybe you can use it on some of your Latino and Asian friends. They can just, you know, do the same as that chili and make your eyes water a little bit and put a little bit of sting in your mouth. You know, what do we got that can compare to that? But I've got it. I've got the answer. And that is horseradish. Oh man, doesn't get much better than horseradish. You know, that stuff is amazing. Just like the chili or something, you can put that on just about anything. You know, you get a nice hot piece of horseradish and oh man, your nose is dripping and your eyes are watering and your mouth's are burning, and you can barely speak a word. So I'd say that's comparable to just about any chili out there. But the horseradish goes good with meats. Fish, chicken, beef. You know, I love to get some of them nice bratwurst or pulley sausage or something and cook me up some of them. Smear on a little horseradish. That's good eating. Now, how to grow and care for this plant. Now that we know, hey, yeah, there is a Gringo Salsa that compares. Gringo Salsa we can take some pride in and call our own with some of that European heritage. The plant itself is an attractive plant. It's easy to grow, does well in a lot of places. I've got some out in the food forest, and it used to be a giant patch, and it was getting a lot of sun. And as the food forest has grown, those plants have got shaded and that patch has shrank. So we're going to transplant the horseradish today, and we'll show you how it's done. Through the shade and filtered light of the food forest, we can see some horseradish plants here. They look reasonably good and healthy, but they're not loving it here. Just not enough sun to really thrive and grow. Not enough to even harvest. So we're gonna take and transplant one or two of these. And it's not really the perfect time of year to do so. But sometimes the perfect time is whenever you've got the time. I'm gonna take a minute and just enjoy the beauty of this plant. Long sword-shaped leaves, they're kind of cool. Color's not too bad. It would be better in optimal conditions. But I like the way they look. They've been tough, hardy plants for me, and a useful one as well. This one's still getting some light, so I think we'll let it be for now. And instead we'll dig up this little feller here. A little bit smaller plant, a little bit more dense shade. I think it needs to be moved a little bit sooner. You want to be kind of careful here. It's a shallow rooted plant, and we don't want to damage any of the little feeder roots if we can help it. Just give this plant the best chance it can to survive and thrive and turn into a big full-size plant for us. You can see this is just a little guy. It'll be just perfect for transplanting. And this is actually an older plant, so it's good that we're moving it. Just picked a spot along the fence line here. It's not a perfect place, but you know, the rule with nature is if you don't plant something, nature will. And this is just going to be full of weeds until I can come up with my final plan. Got me a bucket of aged sheep manure here, and I'm just going to be loosening up this soil and adding that in. Nothing builds the soil like adding good organics, and so anytime I'm digging, I make sure and add some in. If you don't have access to some good aged manure, I'd really recommend adding in some compost. Your plants are going to really love it, and it's going to build your soil, and they're going to thrive. Horseradish has a history spanning back thousands of years. It was first cultivated in Eastern Europe and Western Asia, and now it's primarily a condiment. But for centuries it has been valued for medical applications. The ancient Egyptians, they knew of the horseradish, and the Greeks used it as a back rub and an aphrodisiac, and the Romans adopted it for its medicinal uses. In the Middle Ages, in Central and Eastern Europe, the leaves and roots were used to treat a variety of ailments, including rheumatism, coughs, and digestive problems. Around the 1600s, the English They viewed this as food just for the laborers, but it later became a standard accompaniment for beef and oysters. The innkeepers also used it to make a cordial for exhausted travelers. Early European settlers brought horseradish to North America, and it was widely cultivated in the colonies. Commercial production took off in the Midwest during the 1850s. We're just making a bit of a trench here. Nothing too deep. So all we got to do is cover that root. The struggle here is real, folks. I don't know how you're supposed to make a fine YouTube video with one hand and plant a plant with the other. Anyway, we got her done. Just putting the soil around the plant and then packing it down. We just want to make sure that this young plant gets a good drink of water right now, so make sure and water it in good. While many traditional benefits are still being studied, modern research seems to support several health promoting properties of horseradish. Horseradish may protect against infections and has powerful antibacterial compounds that have been shown in lab studies to kill bacteria that cause illness and food poisonings, such as E. coli, H. pylori, and Salmonella. The pungent fumes help clear mucus and congestion. Some research seems to suggest that horseradish supplement can be as effective as antibiotics at treating acute sinusitis and bronchitis. The antibacterial properties may also help prevent urinary tract infections. Horseradish contains compounds that may help fight inflammation by blocking or altering parts of the immune system that cause it. As a source of antioxidants, horseradish helps protect your body from free radicals that cause cellular damage that can reduce the risk of disease like cancer and heart disease. Horseradish may have anti-cancer effects, and test tube studies suggest that the compounds in horseradish may help prevent cancer by inhibiting the growth of cancer cells, particularly in colon, lung, and stomach. So our Gringo Salsa, it's packed full of powerful health benefits as well. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add in some scrap wood around the base of the plant. And that is because our fine feathered egg-laying friends, they like to dig these young plants up. And so maybe you won't have this problem, but just putting a few pieces of scrap wood or some larger rocks around the base of the plant can really help that plant to get established. Well, there you have it. Our look at horseradish, the Gringo Salsa. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll check back in from time to time, see what I'm up to.